My name is Genevieve, and you're welcome again to Staying with Eve. If you've been following my series from day one till now, which is day 7, you are the real MVP. I'm super excited, and I'm so glad that you thought it wise to be part of this beautiful journey that I'm on. Today is day 7, and the lesson for today is be vulnerable but be careful. Vulnerability is not just limited to having deep conversations. Have you ever been in a conversation with somebody and then you're telling them your worries, you're telling them some things that are really going on with you, and then the person is just like, I felt the same way too, or I even feel the same way too. Like that moment, you're just like, oh, thank God, I'm not the only one. There's just this satisfaction that comes from knowing that whatever you might be going through, or a certain condition that you might be going through, that you are not alone in it. In the world we live in currently, there's a picture of perfection. There's a current wave of perfection that people have been putting out. It's so much to the point that you might even begin to feel like you're the only imperfect person in the world. Finding solace in the fact that you're not alone in certain situations can be quite comforting. When I'm explaining vulnerability, I like to look at it from this point. Have you ever been walking on a dark street, let's say in the night, you've just been walking alone, all the shops are closed, nobody's on the streets, someone that is just as you is coming in that dark moment when there's no other person there, and then you just see the person and then there's a glimpse of hope, and you're just like, oh God, thank God, at least I'm not alone. That's the kind of feeling people get when they are vulnerable and they find out that they're not alone in this. It just gives you this feeling that you are less alone. Now, I'm not saying that if someone is being vulnerable to you, someone's opening up to you about something, that if you've not experienced it, you should lie and be like, yes, me too. No. Having said all of that, I like to see vulnerability as a precious gift. Oh my God, it is so precious. The ability of someone to open up to you, or even allow you to see a certain aspect of themselves that is not open to every other person, is something that you should value it so much. And now, because it's a very deep aspect of yourself, it's not a gift that you should give to every single person. It's not a gift that every single person should have access to. Before being vulnerable with someone, you have to be sure that the person understands you, understands what you're saying. The person has to be a listener. The person has to listen to you first, understand you, and truly be a safe space. It's not everyone that deserves to know the deepest parts of you. That's just some things that if you just check and there's nobody that you can really tell those things, they don't necessarily have to be bad or anything, they just have to be concerns. But if you just check and you're not seeing anybody that you can really talk to about those things, you just don't feel, I beg, just go and talk to God in heaven and keep it to yourself. I'm telling you, because you can really be vulnerable to the very wrong person, and that's something that can be very saddening. I know what it feels like to actually open up to the wrongest people, because I've had my own personal experience of having to open up to the wrong people. I've now come to cherish people's vulnerable moments. When someone sees you trustworthy enough to open up a certain aspect of themselves to you, it should become an obligation to you as the listener to hold on to that, because as I said earlier, being vulnerable with you in the first place is a gift that the person is giving to you. It's a precious moment. It's a precious gift. So you as the listener should hold on so strongly to it and protect it at all costs. Something someone is confiding in you about or showing to you is not something that should become the gist topic for the next person, or should become a topic of discussion to every other person you see around. Now that I've given the instruction to be vulnerable but be careful, you might have the question of how can I go about this. First off, I think the thing is to identify who you can be vulnerable with. Pay very close attention to how they treat other people's secrets. Are they sharing people's private matters? Are they sharing personal moments that are supposed to be held back? Are they telling you about other people's secrets and all of that? It's a no, run away from such people. The second step is you should watch their reactions to certain things. First off, you should try opening up with the things that you don't mind getting out. Yes, there are some things about yourself that, yes, they might be vulnerable, but even if they get out, it might not really affect you so much. So you can try opening up with those small superficial ones and wait for when you hear your gist outside. So eventually, if it doesn't come out, or so, you can build the trust with the person. I mean, vulnerability first starts off from trust. You just cannot just approach anybody and start talking to them if you don't trust them. Now, in being vulnerable, let's say you're already in the moment, you watch their reactions. So somebody might be telling you, I understand you, but then their face is like, they're being so judgmental, like they're already judging you in their hearts and all. Please, that's not a safe space. It is not. You're opening up to someone, you're telling them something quite personal, and then they're already I beg go me, I can never do that kind of thing. God forbid. Now what for you? I beg run. I mean, it's okay to want to know that you're not alone in this. But then if you search and you're not seeing anybody that you can open up to, or that can comfort you, or that can be a shoulder for you to cry on, then go back to your creator. Just talk to him about whatever situation it might be, whatever down moments that you might be going through. Pour it out. Talk to him about anything, just anything, and he would always be there to listen. And just to reiterate what I said earlier, if someone ever comes to you, if someone is ever opening up an aspect of themselves that is sacred, then hold it sacred, because it's a precious gift in the first place. Be someone that someone can trust with things about themselves, and know that no matter what happens, it's never going to become a topic of discussion. Be that person. If the person that is opening up to you is in a dark place, with God's wisdom, try to walk them out of that dark place. Trust me, words are very powerful, and don't just say words that you yourself do not believe just in the need to just comfort someone. Say words that you strongly believe. Why do you think therapists are getting money? Because people really need people that they can really talk to. People want to open up about certain aspects of their life and have people listen to them without necessarily judging them. In the world where we live, everybody's already portraying perfection, so who do you now want to go and talk to? It's only God that you can really hold on to in this case. Thank you so much for staying with me through day 7, and come back again on day 8, and I'll have some good stuff for you. I always do have good stuff to give. Bye guys, and catch you guys later.